My name is Ibrahim, and I am the co-founder at growbigventures.com, where we incubate businesses, and we're a private equity consulting firm that invests into businesses and scales operations. This video is near and dear to me. If you watch nothing else on YouTube today, this will be the video for you. This 3-point system that I'm going to share with you today helped my business 4x in sales. And let me share it with you. This is the 3-step process that my company has used in order to, again, 4x our sales by virtually changing very little. It's very interesting because we have brought on for the agency about 10 plus sales reps. One of the guys that we brought on was from South Africa, and he was phenomenal. This guy was closing everything that came across his desk. His very first month, he collected 2 payments upfront for 3 months, and then he collected like 3 more payments. Ultimately, with very little volume, he brought in, I want to say, somewhere around 15 to 16 grand just himself in a single month. The month after that, he brought in 6. The month after that, he brought in 2,000. For us, that was like, okay, great. We have finally somebody who's consistent, that's doing well. But then we had a conversation with him and we were like, what the hell is going on? Why is this happening this way? Everyone that we brought on has been ultimately consistent. But the problem with this guy was that he didn't believe in the product as much as we wanted him to. The first slide that I have here that differentiates you from the 1% of people is like, do you really believe in what you're selling? Do you have alignment with one, who you're selling to? Do you like empathize with them? And do you believe that what you're selling will actually fix a problem for them? Or are you just selling it because you want to make money? Because chances are, if you're selling it just because you want to make money, then the sales or the prospect rather will feel it. The questions that I want everybody to ask after this call is, do I believe in what I'm selling? If I wasn't getting any commission for this, and if I wasn't getting paid for this, would I vouch for it as much as if I was? The biggest thing, it becomes like imposter syndrome at some point, where you start to believe less in your own product because other people start to believe in it less. And the only reason why other people start to believe in it less is because you don't believe in it yourself. Discomfort comes from performing, confidence comes from guiding, essentially. The main topic of discussion that I really wanted to go over specifically for this slide is what we did is we had to replace him and we had to replace 3 other salespeople because one of our sales reps literally said, I believe if I'm selling this, I think that I'm scamming them. Word for word. We fired her same day. It's like, if you don't believe in the product and in what it could do for other people, then you shouldn't be selling it to begin with. And so just to kind of add on to that story, they were let go of. And we brought in a couple of like really good killers, by the way, from the United States. So if you guys want to hire salespeople, I recommend nothing outside the US for really specific reasons that I'll go over later. But since we've replaced those 2 individuals inside of our business, or these like 3 individuals that we had to let go of pretty much on the spot, everything changed. We had to worry less about sales. Marketing for us wasn't a problem because we were getting lots of leads. The operations wasn't a problem because we knew if we got a lead, our whole entire team had it handled. The only thing that we really had to worry about was bringing a good sales director and bringing somebody to take the intro calls and then bringing somebody to take the closing calls. We couldn't trust in anybody to take these calls outside of ourselves. At a certain point when, a few years back, too afraid to invest into a salesperson. And so it doesn't hurt if you bring on a salesperson, you give them good commission, and then you give them a base salary because they're going to lead your whole entire business. And then you don't have to step into sales. And then the question that comes in is, how can I add more marketing accounts? How can I bring more leads to those salespeople? 1, and then 2, can my operations team even handle that type of volume of clients that we're going to sign? Really good problems to have, by the way. You need to be extremely, extremely clear with what you're selling. And not only that, you need to believe in it and believe that it'll actually change somebody's life. That's the next point that we're at. If you genuinely believe in something, it'll stop being something that you're selling and begin to be something that you're just recommending that you know will work. And if you have full confidence that it's going to work, you don't even have to sell anymore. You just have to decide with them. And so that brings us to the next slide. It's like from closing to guiding. People don't want to be convinced. They want to be understood well enough to choose clearly. One thing that I really recommend, this is the 3-step process as mentioned to increase your close rate. The number one thing is like, I don't really care to sell you. I really don't. And walking into a sales call, you stop being scared to sell. For those of you that are just starting out, you stop caring about the pressure that you put on yourself to sell and what words do I have to say and what things do I have to do and what do I have to be. If you genuinely act like you have 3 Ferraris outside your house and you're in a mansion taking a call, 1, almost like cockiness without the bad things of being cocky. And then secondly, you need to take the back pedal, step back, and just be like, yeah, I don't know if I even recommend this for you. It's almost like, you're on this call with me today, let's have a conversation, but I still don't know if I could help you or not. We still haven't had a conversation. I don't know if this will be a benefit for you. And to be very frank with you, John, I only want to work with individuals that I know I can help, because our reputation matters more than the extra revenue that we're going to bring in because of you, one. And two, we want to create long-term partnerships. We don't want to work with somebody for a month and then have them complain. That puts a strain on our team. So we don't necessarily want that. Like, this is how I train my sales team that got them to close the volume that they're closing today, which is 2 times what they were closing at their previous businesses. The best way that I've explained it is by saying, look, here's the prospect, here's where you are. Okay, you guys are facing each other. Imagine yourself if you were next to the prospect and you guys were both looking at the same exact problem. Imagine a world where you guys were seeing the same thing. It's almost like you're not necessarily confused, but you're trying to figure it out. It's like, I'll give you an example. My business, Grow Big Ventures, we sell email marketing, we sell LinkedIn marketing, we sell staffing, and we also have different divisions. Like, we have a lending division that we're building right now as we speak. The staffing division is something that's being built up. And yeah, I could do all these things for you, and that'll probably make me more money, but do you really need them? I believe, based on my experience in your industry, that yeah, you might want some LinkedIn marketing, but to be honest with you, I don't really think it's going to work for your industry. Like, I'd love to be able to sit here and tell you that it's going to work. And I'd love to give you a guarantee that if you start today, tomorrow you're going to have $1 million. I'd be very rich if I was able to promise that. That's just not the reality of things. And so what I want to promise to you is that, yeah, we can get started today, but you're probably not going to get much out of this until like month 2. And so being really honest removes the pressure from you to be able to sell, and it removes the pressure from the prospect to choose something that they don't want to choose. It's like, you don't have to go with this. But what's the alternative? What alternative do you have? Do you want to go to another company that's less experienced than we are? And if you want cheaper options, I can send you some cheaper options via email right after this call, and you can decide to go with them. And they're like, no, I don't want cheaper options. I want to work with somebody who's good. Great. That's why we're talking today. And the stigma of like somebody being on a call with you being afraid to sell them is like one of the most twisted ideas probably in the universe, in my opinion. They're on the call with you because they were interested in buying from you. If they have clothes on their back, they've bought something before. And if you can't close them, somebody else will. If you go into the call saying, this guy is really tough to close, maybe, but you can still close them. If they've ever bought a watch, if they ever bought a bracelet, if they ever bought a shirt, they've bought something before. Everybody's sellable. You just have to find them, find the right thing to sell them. Prospects decide faster when they feel safe, not when they feel sold. And so this is like what increases conversion rate. But in the next slide, probably my favorite slide I've ever created in my life is the process of actually increasing your close rate when you talk to a prospect. As mentioned, prospects decide faster when they feel safe, not when they feel sold. And the real question is, how do you make a prospect feel safe? Again, you don't sell them. If you're knocking on a door and you're wearing a suit and tie and you have a notepad in your hand and you have that notepad there and you have a name tag, I'm not gonna open the door. But if you're wearing like a cap, a construction cap, and you're wearing a yellow and you don't look like a salesperson, I'm probably gonna open the door. It's a really interesting scenario that you have to think about. If you do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, you will stand out, and that will then benefit you. If everyone is selling them and everyone is listening to Andy Elliott, okay, and everyone is like, you don't have to, and like using his lingo of like, you're being sold to. If you don't use any of these things and you're just like, oh yeah, what's up, man? I'm just kind of here to explore if I can even help you, even work out with you. Trust goes right up. The other thing that you can do is, instead of saying, it depends, you have to sort of be careful with this. Prospect joins the call with you. You're talking to the prospect. You tell them what you offer, and then you say, I offer this, but I don't recommend it for you. Ultimately, if you do that, what's gonna happen, and if you're really smart, you'll create 2 different businesses, one that offers one thing, the other one that offers another. And then the thing that you don't recommend for this guy, you push them over to this guy, and they suddenly become a referral and they have a higher chance of closing. And then if you're in this other business that offers this one thing that's similar, like let's say 2 different marketing channels, what you would do is you would then tell this guy that you don't like this for him and refer it to the other company, and then that increases the chance of closing. I've seen people do that. It's a really smart tactic. That being said, helping people think instead of pushing them forward is ultimately what will differentiate you from every single person who's doing sales in the world. Don't look like a sales guy. Don't look like a marketer. Whatever you are, don't look like it. It'll raise people's guards up. People will think and have the stigma around you without you even opening your mouth if you act or you look like a certain way. And that's the harsh truth. That's really the case here. And the last slide here, keeping the momentum. This slide here 4x'd my business in the last 8 months. If you take nothing from this and you take nothing from any of my videos or any of my courses or anything, simply just listen to this. If somebody books a call with you, a prospect books a call with you, you respond to them and you give them a call and you interact with them. Within 60 seconds of them reaching out to you, the close rate will increase by 4x. For those of you that know anything about email marketing, that's the standard. If you don't interact with this prospect in a quick enough time frame, you send them an email and they're like, yeah, this sounds interesting. If you're not on that, the chances are that you're wasting a lot of money. If you change nothing, bring in somebody to call every single prospect, check in with them the day before your call, the day after your call, ask about their dog, ask about their family, figure out what they do for a living, obviously, right? And just ask them questions. Dude, figure out their favorite color if you have to. Set the pace early so the call feels structured and predictable, then personalize everything. So let me walk you through an ideal scenario. This is like A to Z, perfect scenario to get the highest close rate possible on every interested prospect. Step one, the prospecting. The message itself needs to be specific to them. You cannot go to anybody in any industry and say, I do marketing or I do software development. You know what you're gonna get? A good for you. You're gonna get a thumbs up. The difference is if you go and you say, I do marketing specifically for staffing businesses between 1 to 4 million ARR to help them get to 8 to 12 million ARR with a company, like the more freaking specific that you get, the higher chance that they're going to respond if you have the right data on them. Step one, that's the prospecting. Step two, once you gain their interest and they say, phenomenal, great, whatever your call to action is. For us, our call to action is, let's book a quick call. That's the general call to action. I've seen people close without necessarily booking calls. They just pick up the phone and call the prospect. That call to action for us is, here's a calendar. If they go ahead and they book a time on the calendar, it qualifies them a little bit. The second that they click submit, it'll send them over to a page that has all of our case studies for clients specifically in their industry. And you guys can try this yourself. If you guys go to any of our websites and any of our booking links, if I ever send you a LinkedIn message or an email, book a call with us just to see what it looks like, you will get a personalized case studies page branded to us that has our clients, the experience that our clients had, the return on investment with those clients. And yeah, that'll take time to build. I'm not saying it'll happen in the next 24 hours, but what I am saying is have something there. And then they book a call. Once the call is booked, once they've seen the case studies, once they've seen the personalization aspect and the message that we have somebody else in our team, the same way that we reached out to them that got them on the call, reach out to them again, confirm the appointment. If you have an SDR, it's that SDR reaching out to them. If you have a salesperson, it's that salesperson calling them the day before and the day of if they have not confirmed the meeting. If they have not confirmed the meeting, you call them and you say, hey, John, I'm looking through my list of calls tomorrow, and it seems like you're the only person that hasn't accepted accepted the call yet. I'd love to kind of hear from your side what's going on. And then right away, they're like, oh yeah, sorry, I'll accept it. And then they accept the meeting. Chances are they'll show up. That increases close rate too, because you're having higher touch points. And then they now have the initiative to be like, okay, this person just called me. Now I have to go look at their website, and then they become pre-sold. If you don't have somebody calling them before the call, if before the call they don't accept the meeting, you have somebody call them the day of. And when I say before the call, I mean a day before the call. And you don't have somebody call them the day of to confirm the meeting, your close rate is just gonna go down. So yeah, you can do a lot of damage with 100,000 leads a month, but you can also do a lot of damage with 100 leads a month. And the reason why is because it's the process. Your process matters almost just as much as the volume that you have going out. You can either have a 1% or a 3% close rate, let's just say, sending 150 calls per month, or you can have a larger percentage and send more volume. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing this. And then what'll happen is one of our sales reps will take a call with them. I am fortunately not on sales anymore. One of these sales reps, what they're gonna do is they're going to talk to them about the problems, understand who they are. Again, learn about their favorite color. Things that don't even matter to us with the sale, but build some rapport. At that point, what'll then happen is Hey, I think and I believe that this is what's going to work for you. Maybe this won't work for you, but I think this will. Have you tried doing this? I've worked in your industry a few times before, and I really think that if you do it this way, that this is going to happen. If you haven't tried this before, why have you not done this? Questions that'll make them think. Call ends, chances are, if you've had that really good conversation with them, that there's going to be a second call 24 to 48 hours after your initial meeting. And then from that point forward, your sales rep, your SDR, whoever it is that's taking the call, could be you, will send a personalized email. Rather than saying, hey, it was great chatting to you, here's a proposal for what we discussed, you say, and this is the framework that works for me every single time to get the most amount of people to show up on calls. What you do is you have a note taker, you copy the whole entire conversation that you had inside of that note taker, put it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to create an email for you. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a really personalized message. And most of the time, what it's going to be is, hey, John, it was great learning more about your problems with your IT department, the sales infrastructure that you have going, and the other channels that you have, such as LinkedIn and email. I've put together a proposal based on your needs to reach out to other businesses in the manufacturing sector. And here it is, and done, personalized as hell, right? Second call comes in. The second call is where you have the closer. I'm going really deep into this process because this has gone down to a fine art. In most cases, you cannot have the same person that's taken the first call also take the second call and close. And this is not speaking from a you perspective. If you're the founder and you're doing founder-led sales, great, do that. If you have no salespeople. If you have salespeople, get two people, depending on volume. If you have enough volume, get two people. One for the intro calls, who takes that intro call to the closer closes. The reason why that's the case is because the chances are that somebody will show up to a call when they know that somebody else is on the line. Like, for example, you have a person who's doing all the intro calls for you. They're just like, hey, I know my founder actually has a lot of experience in this space. I want you two to connect. And the reason for the second call, the reason why you talk to them again, that prospect on a call, doesn't become about you selling them anymore. It becomes about them meeting somebody else. And that increases the show up rate. Think of it like a funnel. The more that you increase the process, like if you're closing less deals, all you gotta do is just make more people show up and you'll close more. You don't have to change anything. Just set reminders. It's very little that you have to change for a massive marginal increase. Once you get them the proposal, they're ready to go, then you personalize the onboarding process. And you say, hey, I'm gonna have somebody reach out to you and essentially do that. And the other thing is like, you will increase the likelihood that a prospect trusts you by making more promises. If you're not gonna reach out to the prospect within a minute of them sending you a message, and I'm not talking like a confirmation message, like an automated confirmation message that looks clearly automated. I'm talking like somebody calling them, reaching out to them. If you're not gonna do anything of what I told you, at least, if you make a promise and make it happen really quickly, because the trust process happens when you tell them, hey, I'm gonna send you an email at 6 p.m. today with everything that we just discussed and a personalized proposal that I think you should take a look at. And I'm gonna have my team do some research on your ICP and learn a little bit more about what you're doing so that we can make sure we're as prepared as possible for our next call and you have a chance to review the email. And they're like, okay. And then once you do it, they're like, okay, this person promised something and then they got it to me. And then step 2, you promise something else. Hey, I'm gonna have this person reach out to you from my team just to double check that this time works for you and the availability makes sense. And then they do it. Exact time that you mentioned, trust goes up. So the more times that you can promise a prospect something, exactly do as what that promise is, the larger the chances that they will convert. The best thing you can ever do is to help people that think for themselves. Warren Buffett. I thought this was fitting because of our topic of helping the prospect genuinely think for themselves, asking them the right questions, not selling them, but getting them to believe that if they work with you, that something will happen because you believe that that's going to happen. And so the best thing that you can do is, again, ask questions. Think about it. Salespeople are probably one of the most important individuals in a company. They are you cannot live life without salespeople. The building that you see behind me was sold from somebody to somebody else. The chair that I'm sitting on was sold from one company to another company. Everything that you see is all sales. Everything. The young person who wants to go out and hang out with his friends, he's selling his parents to be able to go out. Everything in this life is sales. And the better that you get at it, the higher the quality of your life will get. Grow Big Ventures, again, we are a private equity consulting firm / venture studio. And what we do is we incubate businesses. We help them grow. We either take a percentage in businesses and help them scale by putting in our systems, tools, and experience into businesses and taking a percentage, or We just work with people as clients, essentially. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to have a quick conversation with my team, our calendar will be in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and book a call with us, and I'd love to go ahead and chat with you and understand a little bit more about your business and any problems you might be facing. Take care.